Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today we are plunging into a review that's been making some serious waves in the world of affordable sports tech.
It really has.
We're talking about the Amazfit Active Max smartwatch, which launched late last year. It's being pitched as a massive market disruptor, and we're anchoring our analysis today on some incredibly detailed testing from the 5K runner, or TFK.
Yeah, his reviews are exhaustive.
They are. And he asks this one very bold question. Is this $169 device, is it truly a Coros killer?
And that is precisely our mission today. We're going to take that really audacious claim and hold it up against the real-world data from TFK and a few other sources.
So we're looking at hardware specs, software experience, accuracy.
All of it. We're here to figure out the key buying factors for you and to see if that Coros killer title actually holds water when you put it up against the established players like the Coros Pace and Apex lines.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the first thing that just jumps right off the page is the strategy, the value proposition.
Massive.
Historically, you had Amazfit playing in the budget lane, lots of smart features, and then you had Coros over here, all about core sports function, huge battery life, two different worlds.
Completely separate. But the Active Max is trying to bridge that gap. It's an invasion, really.
So let's just get the price out there.
Yeah, let's do it. It's $169 RRP. Same in pounds and euros, roughly.
$169, and you put that against its main competitors.
Sure.
The Coros Pace 4 is what, $250?
$249. And the Garmin Forerunner 165 is right there with it at $250. So you're saving almost $100.
Right. And TFK confirms this, right? It's the cheapest watch of its kind from any of the big names.
Bar none. It is the cheapest medium format AMOLED sports watch out there.
I was shocked reading this. How do they do that? I mean, where are the compromises? Because the visual experience, the screen, that is anything but budget.
Oh, the screen is where they made zero compromise. It's huge, for one. A vibrant 1.5-inch AMOLED display.
And the resolution is high, right? Yeah.
480 by 400. But the crazy part is the brightness. It has a peak brightness of 3,000 nits.
3,000.
Yeah, to put that in perspective, that's brighter than a lot of high-end smartwatches that cost 3 or 4 times as much. TFK said that even in direct glaring winter sun, it was perfectly readable.
Wow. Okay, but there was a little catch, wasn't there? Something about the auto brightness.
Exactly. You've got to trust the auto brightness. The peak is great, but TFK found that if you, say, dim it manually inside and then walk out into the sun, there's this frustrating lag where it's unreadable for a second while it tries to catch up.
A small annoyance, I guess. But for that price.
It's a trade-off, for sure. But structurally, for $169, you are getting a visual package that is just, well, it's punching way above its weight.
Okay, so beyond the screen, they're clearly differentiating from Coros by loading it up with smart features, pushing it into that 247 lifestyle watch category?
Absolutely. They move heavily towards, phone independence.
What's new compared to their older models, like the Active 2?
Well, first, you get 4 gigs of internal storage. That's enough to sync maybe 100 hours of music or podcasts. So you can genuinely leave your phone at home on a run.
Oh, that's huge.
And second, they added a speaker and a mic, which means you can take Bluetooth calls right on the watch as long as your phone is in range.
And the big one, NFC payments.
That's the one. ZepPay. This is the feature where Coros just completely refuses to compete.
So does it actually work? TFK tested it, right?
Yes, it's supported in the EME region, and you can add up to 8 cards. He mentioned that compatibility with the CU-RVE card is key, since that sort of aggregates your other cards.
I see.
But this inclusion, this is the line in the sand. Amazfit is clearly saying this is a daily lifestyle watch first and a series sports tracker second.
And that whole strategy, that's what leads into TFK's big conclusion. It was a really nuanced verdict, wasn't it?
What's fascinating here is how TFK framed it. He called the Active Max a Coros killer for most people.
Most people.
Right. But he explicitly stopped short of calling it a Garmin killer. And that distinction tells you everything you need to know about who Amazfit is successfully targeting.
It's the general consumer, the person who wants a good-looking watch for everyday wear that can also track their weekend long runs.
Precisely. They're attacking the meaty part of the market.
So let's break that down. Where does Amazfit just deliver the knockout blow against Coros?
It wins clearly on looks, price, and all those smart features we just mentioned.
Yeah.
The NFC, the calls, that amazing display.
Things Coros just doesn't have.
No. And Coros screens are nowhere near as bright or vibrant. Plus, you've got Amazfit on ZepOS, which has a growing app store, over 300 little apps, while Coros has, well, basically none. To the average person, the Active Max has so much more daily utility.
But there's a flip side. Coros still has the edge for the really dedicated athlete.
That's it. Coros is still a bit better on the core sport stuff. Their GPS accuracy, especially on the higher-end Apex models, it just tends to be superior. And their advanced physiology metrics are more mature, more trusted.
And this gets to why it's not a Garmin killer. It comes down to what TFK called the operational roughness, the bugs.
Yes.
Doesn't that sort of disqualify it for anyone who's really serious about their training?
Well, that raises an important question. The hardware is premium, but the software experience, that's where the budget starts to show. TFK described getting the NFC payment set up as a 4-beer and a headache ordeal.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he said it just failed on both Android and iOS for him in the UK, even with the CURVE card workaround that's supposed to be the fix. That's a huge point of frustration for a key selling feature.
And the problems went beyond payments, didn't they, into the actual sports features like mapping.
That's right. I mean, the fact that you get offline maps and turn-by-turn directions at this price is spectacular, but the execution is just frustrating.
What happened?
TFK struggled a lot with just downloading the map tiles. It took repeated attempts. And worse, the watch won't let you download maps at all if the battery's below 30%.
Oh, that's a terrible feature. Imagine you're on a trip and need a map.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a huge frustration.
And what about support for, like, advanced training tools? I know it connects to things like the Stride Power Pod, but TFK found issues there too.
He did. So, yes, it supports Stride, which is great. But the implementation is kind of the bare minimum. It's missing key things that serious runners want, like auto-calibration.
I see.
And getting a route from Strava onto the watch requires this annoying manual GPX file workaround, even though structured workouts from Training Peaks sync automatically. It's just a bit janky.
So it sounds like the choice is between fantastic hardware that's kind of spoiled by clunky software versus paying more for something like a Garmin that's usually rock solid.
I think if a totally bug-free experience is your #1 priority, you probably have to go for an Apple Watch or a high-end Garmin. But TFK's point was that the Amazfit bugs are mostly survivable annoyances.
Not catastrophic failures.
Right. It's not like your whole workout gets lost. It's more like the NFC doesn't work or a map download fails. It's about whether you can tolerate a bit of software jank to save a lot of money.
Okay, let's switch gears to endurance. This is the heart of the sports watch market. How did the Active Max's big battery claims hold up in the real world?
The claims are, they're aggressive. They claim up to 64 hours of continuous GNSS usage.
GNSS being the Global Navigation Satellite System, what we all call GPS.
Exactly. And that 64-hour claim is plausible. It has a giant battery, a really efficient chip. They market it as market-leading for any AMOLED watch under $600.
What did TFK actually get, the real-world number?
The real-world estimate is closer to 40 hours.
40, okay.
Okay. Now, that was under optimal conditions, minimum brightness, always on display off. And while 40 hours is still spectacular for this price range,
it's not 64.
It's not 64. But for general mixed usage, the watch is an absolute beast. TFK said it easily delivers over a week of power. He still had 63% left after 5 full days. So you're not charging this thing every night, not even close.
Let's talk about the feature that I think really sets this watch apart. The one that targets a massive, growing fitness niche.
Yes. HYROX race mode.
This is a huge deal.
This is a genuine, unique selling point, a massive strategic win for Amazfit. For anyone who doesn't know, HYROX is this brutal competition format that mixes running with functional fitness workouts.
Sled pushes, wall balls, all that fun stuff.
All of that. And Amazfit has the industry-first official dedicated mode for it. It's one of over 170 sport modes, but this one is special.
And the review said it was actually excellent, right? Not just a gimmick.
Totally. For anyone doing HYROX, even just as a one-off challenge, TFK called the Amazfit a HYROX king. He said the interface is super clean, it shows you the last, current, and next workout, and it has effective audio prompts. It's a fully big solution.
That's impressive. What about for a more traditional multi-sport athlete, like a budding triathlete?
It can definitely handle your first triathlon. It has customizable multi-sport profiles so you can track strict sessions and transitions.
But there are limitations for the more serious folks.
Yes. This is where the budget shows up again. TFK notes you can only save one version of a custom multi-sport profile, which is really restrictive. And, crucially for cyclists, you can't use the watch to control an indoor smart trainer. That's a deal breaker for a lot of people in the winter.
Okay, let's circle back to that accuracy compromise. We know the GPS was second tier. What about the other internal sensors? Heart rate. Recovery.
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this is clearly where they save some money compared to the $400 plus watches.
Internal sensors.
Exactly. The GPS was rated at 81% accuracy. It's perfectly fine for most recreational running, but in a dense city or on a track, you will see it cut corners. It just doesn't have that super precise dual frequency chip you find in high-end Garmin's or the newer Coros models.
And the wrist-based heart rate, that's always tricky.
It was inconsistent. TFK found it could be accurate on a steady run, but during fast-paced intervals, it would often underreport significantly, sometimes up to a 10% error in the workout data.
And that's a problem, because that bad data then feeds into all your other metrics, like training load and recovery.
Precisely. Which brings us to their proprietary metrics. Amazfit uses these peak beats algorithms for things like VO2 max, training load, and PAI, personal activity intelligence.
And how did those stack up?
They were okay, broadly in line with expectations. But TFK found some of the recovery metrics, like one called biocharge, could be a little too generous. It might say you're fully recovered when you definitely still feel fatigued.
And sleep.
Sleep tracking was also mixed. It seemed to struggle with telling the difference between REM and light sleep cycles accurately.
So if we pull back, the takeaway is that the Active Max provides the features. It has training load, it has VO2 max, but the actual data quality isn't quite at that refined clinical level of its more expensive competitors.
That's the perfect way to put it. Amazfit gives you the platform. And speaking of platforms, their ecosystem is actually a huge strength against Coros. The watch can connect to external sensors via Bluetooth chest straps for heart rate, power meters, cadence sensors, and it syncs automatically to Strava, Training Peaks, all the big ones. Plus, that ZepOS app store makes it feel like a modern, connected device. Coros just can't match that.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, Amazfit is really forcing the competition, especially Coros, to rethink things. They've changed the definition of a mid-range watch.
Absolutely. Amazfit's strategy isn't just cheap anymore. They are offering, say, 90% of the functionality of a much more expensive watch, like a Coros Apex 2 Pro, for less than half the price.
Which leaves Coros in a tough spot.
A very tough spot.
Yeah.
Their main selling points, supreme GPS accuracy and absolute maximum battery life, are now very niche. They appeal to the ultra-runner who needs that perfect track log or 70-plus hours of power.
So the Active Max has successfully trapped Coros. You've got the affordability of Amazfit on one side and the featured dominance and accuracy of Garmin on the other.
That sums it up perfectly. The average person who wants a great-looking 2047 watch with that big screen, with NFC for their coffee, and a battery that lasts all week, they're going to find the Active Max irresistible for $169.
So to summarize the ideal buyer, it's someone who cares about looks, wants that huge AMOLED screen, strong smart features, and maybe some specific functional fitness support like HY Rocks, all for an unbeatable price.
Precisely. For that general consumer, it's a decisive win against Coros. Coros keeps that narrow technical edge for the hardcore niche athlete. But for most people, you're getting 90% of a much more expensive watch.
This raises an important question.
It does. Since TFK's testing showed that if you use external sensors, like a good chest strap for heart rate or a stride pod for running power, you get excellent accuracy no matter what watch you're using. Why not save hundreds of dollars? Why not buy a budget watch like the Active Max, treat it as a superior smart hub, and just consider its internal sensors as a backup? You get all the smart features you want, and you guarantee your accuracy with better external hardware. Something for you to mull over.